right, fam, welcome back to another episode of Speedaddixxgarage. I know you've already, based on looking at the few little clips I added to the front of this video, you wondering why the heck I got Jose's car back here for one, and then why in the world I got Jose's motor and transmission out of the Great White. Well, let me explain. He was driving his car, breaking in the clutch because he made an appointment with Vlad over at National Speed to get it tuned, and while that was happening, he had an oil leak. He wanted to get the oil leak fixed, and then also he heard a noise in the transmission and he assumed that it's something with the dual mass flywheel, so he wanted to tackle that, and that's why it's back at the shop. Oh yeah, and by the way, look, I got a new TV. Thanks, Dusty. I love you like a brother. All right, so again, this is a pull style clutch, meaning that it's almost exactly like an automatic transmission. There's a couple of bolts you have to remove from the pressure plate to the flywheel. Once you get that out of the way, move the fork, then you can take these bolts out and separate the motor from the transmission. Let's go ahead and separate that, and I'm also going to let you guys know what else Jose wanted to do while we got this thing apart. The South Bend clutch still looks dry, look like it's wearing even. And I know you're looking at all these bolts with all this oil dripping all over the place. When he left here, it had an oil leak. At the time, I didn't have a clue what it was, but when he brought it back, I realized one thing. I noticed that the valve cover bolts were a little loose, almost as if I didn't tighten them all the way down, like I forgot or something. You know, it happens, we're humans. I went to go tighten down the valve cover, and let me show you what happened to the valve cover. Bye, check that out. Passenger side valve cover. I went to go torque this thing down with a Harbor Freight inch-pound torque wrench. The joker didn't work, and I ended up putting too much on it, and it broke the freaking ear off. And as you can tell from the overview, see how the ear kind of stick out by itself? Well, if you tighten down something and the daggone torque wrench don't ever clickety or do that, then that mug make the wrong kind of click, and then it'll break the ear right off of that joker. Do you know that that single valve cover, $300. They still make it at Toyota, $300 for that thing. This one right here is the good valve cover. I had to buy another one and repowder coat it. And then also I told you when we get the motor out what we're gonna do also. My boy Jose wanted to get all of his exhaust components ceramic coated. Now I know you probably like ceramic coated, you know what I'm saying? That's something that you're supposed to do like on the exterior of the car. You're supposed to hit it with that ceramic coat, that nanotechnology. Well, guess what? This America where sometimes one word has more than one meaning. So in this particular situation, ceramic coating is when they basically spray on some kind of protective like paint that withstands like, you know, 2,000, 2,500 degrees. There's a local place that we're gonna take it to. I've called them. I'm trying to get a quote from them first, but we're gonna go with a Cerakote ceramic coating. And if you know anything about Cerakote, they got a bronze color that's pretty daggone hot. I hope he picked that, but I don't know if bronze on all of this and the downpipe, which isn't here, is gonna match with the white on black. Hey, comment below what you think. So before we cut you off, this is what they call a dual mass flywheel. Check out the bolts in the center and watch what happens. You see that? The outside part of the flywheel is separate from the inside. When I first saw that, dude, I was like, what the heck, man? This just lets you know how far Toyota is gone with their technology back in the early 90s. I mean, this right here, this extra movement is supposed to help give you that extra clutch feel. But make a long story short, my boy is hearing the noise. He's talked to some super experts, and evidently this is what they're saying the cold pit is. Maybe this junk is dirty. Maybe that rotation material in there is like worn out since it is, you know, almost 30 years old or whatever. I don't know, but we got a brand new loop flywheel we're gonna install. Oh, watch me take this turbo and manifold off over a hot beat. Like, whoa. I'm not gonna show y'all taking this mess off because it involves a lot of busting your knuckles up, knocking the meat off your hand, and maybe a few bad words. Hey, and check out this. This mug got a daggone part number on the ring gear, meaning that this is probably serviceable. I just had to install one of these on a pushback last week. Basically, you heat it up with a torch and it comes off, and then the new one, same thing. You heat up the ring, the heat expands the ring, and then you just tap it down lightly with a hammer. But that's pretty cool, man. Toyota, y'all doing it. Wow. Hey, comment below, mechanics, if y'all can relate. But I don't remember, Jose, I don't remember you daggone telling me if you want me to install a daggone carrier bearing. Why y'all gotta, man, y'all already doing jokes like that. You daggone be throwing extra stuff in there, and like, man, if you get a chance, you know what I mean, if you got extra time, put it on there. You know I'm gonna look out for you, but you think you slick. Wow. All right, so this one's from Luke. Look like he got it from Rock Auto. And this mug look like it's sitting in the rain. Oh, snap, Jose. That mug look like it's been sitting in the rain, dude. Jose, I'm gonna have to call you, man, because I don't think this is acceptable. I mean, because that's the surface that the clutch is gonna grab. And I mean, I don't know if I can pull these pins out and hit this mug with a dual action sander and that work, but this junk, look at that. That mess is deep, dude. Hold on.
Much later.
All right, fam, a couple days have passed. All right, fam, today is the day that we will start doing the reseal of the lower oil pan cover. It is a 2-piece cover. So let me go ahead and flip it over. We'll start working on it. Well, before we start, I need to take these arms and put it on the inside, because if I rotate this thing, of course, these studs are gonna hit this. So just like that, we got plenty of clearance. The motors move forward a hair. Let's rotate this and get started. All right, Speedaddixx, first impression, this 2J block look almost identical to Adam's 2J block, meaning that this mug is dark, dark, dark. Another thing I noticed is there is way too much RTV on this thing. So that gives me a good indication that somebody has been in here. And look at that, man. That junk splooges all out. Not to mention that a few of the bolts were loose. And then we definitely need to change this O-ring, because that O-ring looked super daggone flat. I thought I found a little bit of metal in here. Yeah, there we go. This thing right here is magnetic screwdriver. Jose, I don't know where it came from, but, oh, never mind, that's RTV. And then also, I found this in the oil pan. It looks like a C-clip that might goes on a, like a turbo wastegate actuator of some sort. But y'all comment below what the heck y'all think this is. So again, I'm gonna clean up both surfaces. I'm gonna hit everything with that daggone Dollar General oven cleaner, sprayed off with soap and water, or water at least. And then I got to run to Toyota, get the appropriate sealant. Once I grab that, I will show you what it is so you can buy it as well if you're gonna be doing something like this. And then let me show you the tool I'm gonna use to scrape this off. Most people have something like this at their convenience. But my boy Dusty, man, he introduced me to this deal here. If you want it, that's the part number. It's made by Mac Tools. But this thing has a perfect machine straight edge. So it don't look like much. But this joker right here, man, is like a lifesaver if you don't want to tear stuff up. All you do is keep it flat on there. And I mean, it take a little bit of work, but you get the drift. With this being steel, we can actually put like a little wire brush on if we want to. But we're gonna look out for Jose, and we're gonna do the best job we can possible. I don't really know. Yeah, I don't. All right, fam, a few days have passed. I've already dropped off the exhaust components to get powder coated. When they return, I will show you the final product. But today, we are going to go ahead and put all this back together. We have our O-ring for the oil pan, and then we also have our sealant packet 103, aka FIPG, same stuff that we use on Adam's car. While I'm in here, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this rear plate, and probably gonna use the sealant on it as well. So I'm gonna do a different approach than I normally would do. In order to get to this, we're gonna have to take this off. So I'm gonna use a couple of bolts, suspend this thing just like it is instead of flipping it over. Hit this with the FIPG and then seal up the oil pan.
That's my bad boy.
All right, as you can tell in the time lapse, I spent quite a bit of time, actually about 7 minutes or so, to clean this up real good using this Mako tool and a little stainless steel brush. It's probably better to use something like a brass because it's a little bit softer. You don't want to really jack up this mating surface because it is made out of aluminum. Obviously, aluminum is not as strong as steel. But before I install this, I want to make a little side note real quick. If you look at these seals, like rear main seals, front seals, if I peel that back, you see that little spring section? That spring section is designed to put the perfect amount of tension on this lip here, which basically tightens down the perfect amount around the crank pulley as it spins inside of there. So when you install that, you got to make sure that, you don't fold this lip over when you're sliding it through, because that way the spring will come off and then your stuff will start leaking and then you'll be wondering why. Just a little side note. I don't think too many people talk about that, but I'm gonna talk about it. This stuff coming from Toyota, it comes with one of these. If you using silicone that don't come with this, it ain't a good brand. This junk you can actually use it for your toothpaste too. Slide that mug in there like that, and then when you apply it, you just basically turn it and do that number. Boom. A 10 was good enough, and then the dials line it up, press it into place.
That's my bad boy.
fam, the last piece of the puzzle is this oil pan. Before you install this, you got to make sure this surface is flat. I know when I took it off, I used a flat head and everything, but trust me when I tell you, I didn't butcher this thing up. Before I took this thing off, this whole section right here, this lip that kind of folds over to increase rigidity, was kind of peeled back for some reason. It looked like somebody went ham on this corner. So make a long story short, took my little flat edge or ruler or what sort, and there was a super big gap right here on this section. All you need to do is flip it upside down, put this section on a flat surface, use something like a 10mm socket, and basically hammer the high spots down to like a floor or a flat table or something. And then these little edges on the inside or outside and inside of this little lip, this little ridge, I kind of use like a flat head of some sort, a flat punch, and kind of hammer that all down. And as you can tell, we have us a flat surface.
I know you feel like you want me, and I guess in a way you do. Holding my breath, unraveling emotions. I need some space to think this through. Call me all night long, try to give you hints and a hard to see.
All right, that's gonna do it on the 2JZ GTE oil pan seal up. Hopefully that helped somebody that is about to start their own project in their own garage as far as doing something like this. But in the meantime, I will check you later. The next update on this, we will be getting the powder coated or the ceramic coated exhaust components back. We'll show that to you. We'll go ahead and slap all this stuff back together, and then we'll go ahead and install it back in the CCW White Supra, aka the meme whore, owned by Jose. If you want to check more of his pictures out and stuff, check out right here somewhere on the screen. And in the meantime, I'll check you later. Peace.
Feels like I could break it any moment and shatter your insides if you feel my mind.